And welcome everybody back to another episode of Demi-God discussion. I'm your co-host Adrian.
I'm your real host Randy, and here's Gianni. He's not here.
Yeah, so unfortunately not that there's a little mix-up, but he had plans. He did read it, and he is going to send us our rating of the book later. But right now it's just going to be me and Randy. So we did miss our inaugural 10-digit episode last episode, which was our 10th episode. We didn't mention anything about that.
Yep.
Because, I don't know, we're fucking stupid.
Yeah, I'm not the one who manages.
We are not good hosts.
I'm here for the ride.
Yeah, we are not good
and
hosts.
I'm here to ride. What?
But yeah, I have to say thank you all for listening again. I don't know why you guys do, but we're here.
How many downloads do we have now?
I believe we have around 120.
120?
At the time of this recording, yeah.
Why are you guys watching this?
I don't know. If we divide that by 10, that means we have 12 listeners, but one of them is always me. So we have 11 listeners.
Well, one of them is also me. So
we have 10 listeners. Nice.
I like to reflect back on my jokes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think of spot on the fly. I think stuff up on the fly. And I'm impressed by how good my jokes are sometimes.
Very nice, very nice. I just listened to it because I want to make sure I didn't fuck up with the editing, so.
Well, you did one time. You let me slip the fact that I farted on one of them.
Oh, yeah. No, I kept that in there on purpose.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't actually. I'm perfect. Alright, you didn't hear what I whispered into the mic, right?
No, I heard.
Ah, damn it.
So let's start off. Today we're reviewing the second half of the Titan's Curse, chapters 11 through 20.
It's gonna get crazy.
Last time we left off, it was what was chapter 10 about again?
Was it the Nemean lion?
Yeah, when they fought the Nemean lion and they killed it. So
yeah.
They exit out of they're like at a museum, right? Like a rock museum. They exit out of a museum and they immediately are followed by a helicopter. And so they're in the car that they were in. They're followed by a helicopter. Nothing's shooting it down because, I mean, I don't know, it's fucking Black Ops operations or whatever. And they manage to actually lose they lose the helicopter in a subway. The subway being pointed out by Bianca. There's a little bit of like a weird mentioning where like the subway wasn't there when she was a kid, which is super fucking weird considering this takes place in like 2008 or 2007.
Yeah, everyone loves a good
Bianca's
sandwich.
12, which means
What?
Huh?
I said, and everyone loves a good sandwich.
Shut the fuck up.
Nice foot long.
I love a foot long.
Of course you do. Watch this. That was so gay. It's gonna get so gay, isn't it? This
undoubtedly,
episode.
it really is. Gianni's not here to moderate our gayness.
Yeah, it's.
Usually we have him being like, alright, or like you know, like his noises that he makes.
He's like, hey. Or he was like, ew. And then we like touch him instead too for revenge. But now this time he's not here.
So we're just gonna keep touching each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah. Fuck. Okay.
That's one of 3 I will do this episode.
I'm scared. I'm legitimately scared.
Hey, at least I let you know there's 2 more coming up. You just won't know.
Oh God. Anyways, but Bianca's 12, which means she would have been born in. If this takes place still in 2006, 2005, 2000, like still in regardless, she was born in like the 90s, and I'm pretty sure the subway station was not built in the 90s. I'm pretty sure it was built maybe a decade or 2 before that. So
what if Bianca's just a little special in the head?
A little special. I mean, who knows? She is a half-blood, so she is special. She might be special in different ways. You know what I mean? She did abandon her 10-year-old brother, so...
I always forgot she did that.
She does have a reason for it, and we will learn that later, but... Alright, where are we going? Oh yeah, mention that. So they have to like switch trains a couple of times just to lose the helicopter, and they eventually end up like at a dead end. I didn't know trains Obviously, the train tracks stop at some point, but I never knew how, like, a metro or anything like that goes to an end and then goes backwards without bumping into other trains. I don't know. It's so weird to me. I'm not going to pretend to understand it. They end up at a dead end at, like, a freight stop with a bunch of freight trains, right?
You don't know what they do? They flip the earth, so that way the metro is pointing the other way again.
My brother in Christ. But yeah, so they're there, and there's a homeless guy there, and he invites them to sit by his, like, little trash can fire, right?
Yep.
And he says, I forget exactly what he says, but it's just like, oh, you guys need a ride west? And Frey's just like, yes, sir, like, yes, we do. And he points over, and a train magically appears. It's like a freight train. It's one of those trains that, like, carries, like, cars and shit, right? Actually, I don't know. I presume they probably, like, snuck in and are just chilling out in the cars that are on the train.
Like Boxcar Children?
Yeah, like
That's a good book. Yeah. I should read it again.
Yeah, I've never read it.
It's about homeless children.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone in 2008 or 2009 can almost relate to that.
Yeah. For real. I was too busy being 5. So.
Yeah. Nah, you were like 4.
For most of 2000. I turned 5 in 2009. In November. Why the fuck? My birthday is so late in the year. Like, why?
Well... Why? Is it 9 months after February?
Yep. Shut the fuck up. I already know.
That's
in a park,
crazy.
too. Like, why?
In a park is crazy. I think...
No, I was
Maybe
not
I won't talk about my experiences. School.
Ah! As
That's
long as we
all I'll
don't
say.
name which school. I've had to cut out whenever we mention the name of our school.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I'm just now realizing, like... Well, I realized, I was just like, maybe we shouldn't have that in there. And we named our middle school at one point.
Did we really?
Yeah. I had to cut it out. But I think I've got all mentions of those out of the way, but yeah. Anyways.
Let's go.
So they're in the cars, and Percy gets into the car with Thalia, and they talk about a couple things that, like, oh, the Mountain of Despair is in San Francisco, which makes a lot of sense.
Yep, if you open your eyes in San Francisco, they say that if you see one homeless person, you're seeing half of it.
But...
There's so many homeless people in San Francisco, bro.
Well, there's a whole subsection devoted to that later. But...
I forgot about that. There is.
Yeah. We also learned that the hunters tried to recruit Thalia. You know what I mean? And she says the reason she didn't was because of Luke. Now, I don't know why, but do you know what book talk is?
Book talk? What does that mean?
It's a section of TikTok where they talk about books. Like, that's just it. It's like, you'll find TikTok talking about books, or... Recently, because of the Percy Jackson show, they've been talking about...
There's a lot of smut, isn't there? There's a lot of smut, isn't there?
Yeah, but they also talk about YA novels.
Okay.
Specifically, like, Percy Jackson, because the later ones do tend to veer into that territory. But the show, you get a lot of people being like, oh, the actor for, like, Percy Jackson is too hot or whatever. And it's a bunch of teenage girls
too
saying
hot?
it. It's a bunch of teenage girls saying it or whatever.
Okay.
But, like, they don't understand the fact that that is exactly the reason why Luke gets the position of power that he does. Because he's attractive. Because he's charismatic, you know? You have a bunch of people that join him, a bunch of demigods that join him, purely because of the fact that he's hot. You know, Thalia has a crush on him, Annabeth has a crush on him, you know what I mean? He's this tall, blonde, charismatic swordsman in the camp. He's everybody's camp crush. Percy even blushes when he talks to him. You know what I mean? He's just that attractive. You know? And so, if you say, oh, the actor's too hot, you are playing into that fact. You are basically saying conventionally attractive people cannot be morally wrong. Same thing with Coriolanus Snow in The Songbird of Ballads and Snakes. I've been seeing that everywhere. Like, oh, he's so hot. Oh, he didn't do anything wrong. No. The book does it better than the movie, but even the movie portrays the fact that he had multiple chances to be a good person, to turn it all around, and yet he did not because he was selfish and willfully made these decisions to put himself in this position of power at the expense of other people.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm pretty sure some people listening to this have heard of the halo effect. People who are more attractive are deemed in a higher light.
Yeah.
They'll be getting away with more stuff. People will be more patient with them. It's a real thing. People have done studies. Everyone tries to deny it. It's a very real thing.
Yeah. It is for sure real. And Luke, even though Luke is manipulated throughout these books by Kronos, we can tell for sure, he still makes active choices and active decisions at the expense of other people.
Yep, he's almost killed Percy.
Multiple times.
3 times, 4 times.
Yeah, I think, like 3 times by the
Let's
time
see,
of the
first time he poisoned him.
Poisoned him with the scorpion.
The second time was in the ship.
The duel on
right?
the ship. Yeah.
The third time...
He didn't really try to kill him in this book. I mean,
that's because he didn't really have the chance to kill him in this book.
But he would have. Technically twice, but he has also made preparations to kill Percy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So we can probably count those. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know there's people that think like, oh, they're being manipulated. It's not their fault. In the end, they still know what's right and wrong.
You can like dissect his character and look at the the circumstances that led him to this place and the manipulations of Kronos. You have to acknowledge those, but there are other decisions that he makes that he knows are wrong and that he still does.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
it's kind of like, I guess 2 good things of that are Baby Driver, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever watched that. You have, right? Oh, basically it's this dude who's like really good at driving because he helps a bunch of people like get out in bank robberies.
Yeah, getaway driver.
Yeah, he is a good person, like at heart.
But he's doing morally wrong actions.
Yeah. Like there is a part where a woman with a baby is getting next to the bank where she's getting robbed, and he kind of signals to her that it's dangerous and that she should go away. And in the end, she managed to catch on, and he saved her because of that. But in the end, he still helped a lot of getaways, bank robberies, murders. Like he should get punished for that, and he did. He ended up getting 25 years with parole.
The movie, but...
It's fine.
How old is Baby Driver? I mean,
I don't know. I remember seeing it in mid 2010s, I think.
Yeah. Well, regardless, it's been out for a while, so we probably should have let them know before.
And then there's also the webtoon Bastard.
Yes.
Have you read it all the way through?
I've read it all the way through. It's a wonderful webtoon.
It's really good. One thing I do like for it it did keep true to that is that the protagonist does go to prison. Mm-hmm. If you don't know, he is the accomplice to his father's murders because his dad literally raised him to be his accomplice. Mm-hmm. And in the end, he is a good person. He did turn away from his dad, and in the end, he managed to save multiple people from him. Mm-hmm. Didn't stop the fact that he helped kill multiple women.
Yeah.
He was going to kill the main female lead, too.
Yeah. Well, I do think that because it looked like his mom. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Well, I do think that in the case of Bastard, there is much more evidence to get him a lighter sentence. At the end of the day, he was still an accomplice to the murder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, he did this because, his father manipulated him basically from birth to do this. And even when he did realize what he was doing was morally wrong, he did so because he feared for not only his life, but further into the webtoon, the life of the male-female lead.
Yep.
Yeah.
That webtoon is so depressing.
It is so depressing.
In the end, a bunch of people die.
Yeah. I like it, though. I would definitely recommend giving it a read. It is, even if you know the ending, which we sort of just spoiled.
Yeah.
It's still incredibly good. I've read it twice or 3 times, I believe, because it's so interesting to see everything from the beginning, knowing what happens. And even you could probably still go into it blind because we haven't explained it well. There's so many things.
Yeah,
so many things.
We basically we only explained one small
synopsis.
part of the ending.
Yeah.
And an ending which you could probably call from a mile away, anyways.
Yeah. So, go for it.
Trust me. You should also read it. Was it Sweet Home?
Sweet Home.
Don't watch the show. I don't know what the hell they did with the show.
Sweet Home is made by the same author of the Bastard webtoon. And in fact, the Bastard is a Korean drama inside of the universe of Sweet Home.
Yeah.
It's not the same premise at all, but if you know the premise of the Netflix show, you know the premise of the webtoon, and it is done much better.
Oh yeah,
much better.
A lot better. It is also depressing as hell.
Incredibly depressing.
Dude, that ending had me crying, bro.
I remember they added music to the ending, and I was
oh
like,
yeah, I started crying, bro.
Oh, it was so. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then I got to episode 8 in the show, and I stopped. I couldn't.
I stopped at like episode 3, I think. Yeah. That one girl whose character personality basically completely flipped. I have no idea what they were doing with her. And then they added a bunch of characters who basically served just to die, basically.
Yeah.
That firefighter who died in like, that one firefighter who died like 5 minutes after she got introduced.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of like other like useless characters, and the ending was different too.
Yeah. They have a season 2.
They have a season 2?
Yeah.
How the hell do you continue on from that?
I don't know.
At this point,
because remember, the Netflix came out before the webtoon was even done, which means filming was done much before then.
So they didn't even get the ending, huh? They didn't like ask him like, "Hey, yo, bro, what'd you do?" They're just
I never watched the ending, so I don't know.
Damn, I just remember. I don't remember the ending itself. I do know that the beginning does show part of the ending, like foreshadows it. Yeah. They're basically like the military comes in onto the hotel, and he's like walking towards them.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Yeah, the ending is a lot different in the webtoon.
Yeah, much better too.
Oh, it's so good. You gotta read them. I forgot where we were at.
Yeah, so Thalia kicks him out of the car, and we're talking about like pretty privilege is what.
Oh yeah.
Luke has pretty privilege.
I hate it because sometimes if I talk about it, it makes me sound like an incel. And yet, it's like true, you know?
Pretty privilege is an actual thing in the world that we have to acknowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's purely because of, like, the human psyche, you know? We see conventionally attractive people as treated, like, more trusting, more, like, morally good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a condition of the human nature.
It's like, would you rather trust a homeless man, or would you rather trust, like, the dude in, like, a suit, nice fade cut?
Yeah,
he got that
it's all about
taper
appearance.
fade. Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, so he ends up going into Grover's Lamborghini, and he's asleep in the back. And who appears next to him except for Apollo, who was the homeless man, except he goes by Fred, the god Fred. And he basically, like, he visits him. He's the one that, like, gave him the train, and he lets him know that, like, he basically lets him know, hey, I don't know anything. But he does know one thing, and that's that he has to go see Nereus, the old man of the sea, in San Francisco. And then he disappears, you know. Percy goes to sleep, and he has a dream about Riptide and Zoe. He is in the place of, like, an old Greek hero who essentially manipulates this person, who we end up finding out is Zoe, to turn against her family so that way he can go and slay slay a dragon or something.
Yep.
Right?
We'll see. We'll hear more about this story later on.
So we get to the next chapter called I Go Snowboarding with a Pig. So they get off the freight train. They're in New Mexico. And Percy tells Grover about Nereus, right? And they go to this old town. It's like an old ski town. They split up, and they ask a clerk if there's any way out of town. If you don't have a car, you're stranded. It would cost you several $100s just to get a taxi.
Oh, yeah.
From the nearest town to here. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Especially in America.
Especially in America, yeah.
Honestly, is it even possible to live here without a car?
At this point, I don't think so. Our public transportation is fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, I know to some colleges they'll have like a bus system there. Like, you know, CSUSB.
Mm-hmm.
They have a bus that goes directly in front of their college. It's pretty convenient for people who don't know how to drive or can't drive yet.
Yeah.
However, buses suck.
Yeah.
Oh, they're never on time, dude. So we'll be there at 11:30, and then they'll arrive at like 12:03. Like I get why they get late, but it's like, damn, bro, I might as well just drive.
Yeah, but you know, so they're basically stuck there. Percy buys a rubber rat from the store clerk, and Thalia leaves because she's frustrated. So we're just stuck there with Percy and Bianca. This is the first time he's talked to her alone, and
he starts spitting game.
No, like he's like she talks about like the reasons like why she joined the hunters, you know, I don't actually have it like written down, but yeah,
Why'd she join the hunters again?
Because she felt like she had always been a big sister.
A big sister?
Percy relates because of the whole incident with Tyson, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know? But eventually he also realizes that, like...
I always forget that they're brothers.
Yeah. But he likes having Tyson as a brother.
True. Tyson is chill. I like Tyson. Or as we like to call him, Typhon.
Typhon.
It's so funny. I still remember when we were saying he would have been the son of Ares.
Oh, God. Ares.
Ares. I take this ear as offering to you, Father.
Every single time Tyson comes out in a book, it's always gonna come up. It's always gonna come up.
Yeah. Even if we forget the joke, it'll come resurging anyway. It's like, oh my gosh, we've done that so many times where we forget about a joke, and yet it becomes a habit to do it that it just comes out anyway.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's.
Wait, I don't know.
I still quote Dreamy Bowl.
Moving on. We're not gonna delve into that.
If you don't know who Dreamy Bowl is, stay like that.
Yeah,
stay like that. Yeah, it's better off. You're better off not knowing.
So he also sort of slipped that he was eavesdropping on Bianca and Zoe, like at the back at the camp. But before she can delve further into that, Grover and Zoe come back from getting coffee, and Grover just collapses. There's like a fresh wind, and the paper birds on his coffee float out of the coffee into the wind. The rubber rat that Percy bought turns alive and skitters away.
Oh, hell no, I would have caught that thing. That's dinner right there.
Huh?
Oh.
And then, what next? But the skeletons catch up. And they're, so they're fighting. There's only about 4 of them at the moment. But Percy's fighting 2 of them, and then he gets shot in the back. Bah, bah.
Yeah, take back shots, if you will.
Okay. He is not dead, however, because he has the Nemean lion cloak still on. At that moment, Bianca manages to stab one of the
skeletons?
One of the skeletons. And kills it. Actually kills it. It burns to flame and then dies. So the other skeletons get a little bit weary. And then, they have to hold them off. Because now they're not going near Bianca because she can kill them. And there's more coming when all of a sudden this giant fucking pig comes out of, the forest. And wouldn't you know it, it's your mom. And...
Bruh. You were thinking of that this entire time, weren't you? You had it all planned out.
As soon as I said pig, that's what I was
Bruh.
It's the Erymanthian boar, who is a blessing of the wild, and it fucks the skeletons up, and it starts fucking them up, too.
I forgot about that.
It's just I'm here to help myself to some fucking food. Bah, 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 you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I think chooses no sides.
Yeah, and it starts chasing Thalia and Percy to a cliffside, and they end up having to jump off a bridge, using Thalia's shield as a snowboard down the mountain to get the boar stuck in the snow gorge at the bottom. And we learned that Thalia is afraid of heights. That's why she didn't want to drive Apollo's what do you call it? Sun chariot. And it's a little bit of funny because, she's the daughter of Zeus, Lord of the Sky, and whatnot. But Bianca, Zoe, and Grover manage to catch up. And Grover looks a little bit agitated, but they manage to, float an apple in front of the boar and hop on. But Zoe talks about saying that, the wind that they felt, it was the presence of Pan. And that's the end of that chapter. But he's at chapter 13. So much happens in this chapter. I was reading it, and I was just holy... By the time I got to the end of the chapter, I forgot what happened at the beginning of it. As well, we visit
Real.
the junkyard of the gods. So basically, they ride... Keep in mind, I just want you guys to remember. They were in D.C., and they took this freight train from D.C. to New Mexico. In the span of like a day.
Dude, that freight train had to have killed like 5 people. Like the speed of sound.
And then they take the boar from New Mexico to Arizona. So not as far, but they still get pretty far. And they get there like at around nighttime. And the boar fucks off. It eats some cacti and it goes away. And they decide to... Like there's nothing there. Like, there's like a taco shop and like a junkyard in the far distance. And Grover throws out some acorns. And they see there's 5 acorns, have to pick them, and I love this joke where Percy's just like, which one's mine? And so it's just like, oh, the little deformed one right there.
Bruh.
I don't know why, whenever I read this book, I always love that joke. It's so funny to me, because it's just like, because she's joking with them, you know what I mean? She's teasing, and I don't know, I find it so funny. That, like, Zoe, of all people, would say that. It's, I don't know.
Yeah, this 1,000-year-old woman.
Oh, the little deformed one right there, that's you. it's oh my god.
Bruh.
It's like you see the most hideous creature alive in a movie and you point to your sister, you're just like, that's you.
Dude, I do that all the time still.
It's lovely. I love it. So they decide to camp out for the night because they don't want to go to the junkyard in the middle of the night. Which is so weird. I always forget that because the scene that happens after this, I always picture happening at night, but I forget it's in the middle of the day. Regardless, they camp out for the night, and before they go to sleep, there is a, like, there is a car that comes up. It's like a white limousine, and who comes out but Ares? Ares comes out, and he tells everyone else except Percy to fuck off, because Percy has to go into this limo. So they go and get some burritos, or some tacos, I think. Yeah, some tacos.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. And actually, hold on. Before the limo scene, I cannot believe I forgot about this. They're having some conversations, you know. Zoe talking about how she hates English because it changes all the time. How Grover keeps wanting to find Pan. But then, the biggest revelation, Bianca and Nico were actually stuck in the Lotus Casino for about 70 years. That's why you get all these little things about, like, them, like, about the subway. You know what I mean? Not being there when they were kids. Or them not really remembering what happened about a year ago. You know what I mean? Because they were stuck in the Lotus Casino for a few weeks. Which adds another conundrum into my time problem that I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I cannot remember the mathematics that I did for the time conversion rate between the Lotus Casino.
It's going to be a mess.
I will have those calculations for you guys next time at the beginning of the next episode. I promise you that.
It is going to be a mess, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Listen, we don't have a direct link between the amount of weeks and the 70 years, so I'm just going to use either one of the 2 conversion rates that I had and find out which one seems more believable.
That's going to be you know damn well bro didn't think about it. He was just like...
Yeah, but you remember...
One day, E will equal 5 billion years.
Yeah. But you remember how different the time conversions were? Where it was either, what was it, Disco Dan? He was either at the casino for 2 weeks or he was there for about a little bit over a year. Now imagine converting that for 70 years. They're either going to be at the casino for like 12 years or like, I don't know, like 7 months. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It could not have been that fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows? Anyways, that's when the limo comes up, Ares comes out, and Percy goes inside the limo and finds out Aphrodite, who is smoking fucking hot.
Yep.
Right? Who actually looks a little bit like Annabeth for a little bit, and then turns into, like, a teacher that he had a crush on, which base as fuck.
That's so real.
But yeah, basically she sort of morphs and changes, and she's super beautiful and everything, and, yeah, like, they have a little bit of a talk. Aphrodite is the one that basically sent Blackjack to Percy, basically got him onto this quest. She's the one who planted the idea in the Stoll brothers' head to, like, poison Phoebe, the hunter that was supposed to go with them initially. And she's there because she wants to see love blossom, like Helen and Paris. You know, and the best part about that is the thousands of people who died in the Trojan War that spanned for 9 years. Did you know that?
9 years?
You want to know what happened during 7 of those?
What?
Absolutely fuck all nothing.
Just like the Cold War.
No, there was like legitimately, if you read, I forget where it's depicted in, but there is actually just 7 years where if you look at the original myth, those 7 years are literally just like, yeah, the Greeks were just on the outskirts of Troy for 7 years. And then you get this happened. And it's just like, what the fuck do you mean they were there for 7 years?
All that just for a Trojan horse.
All that just for a bitch who was probably mid.
It's like...
Like...
like, you get...
With all the respect, Helen of Troy. Like, dear God, ain't no way there's pussy that's that good.
It could not have been that tight. What?
Oh, okay.
It's like, you get wooden Trojan horse. I receive nothing. Don't worry about it. Ha ha.
Okay. But yeah, so...
It's
after that, he's just like, yeah, I did this. And she's like, oh, make sure to be careful through my husband's junkyard. And then they leave, and it's the next morning, and they go through the junkyard, because they have to head west. Actually, no, they don't. It is during night. Because they have to head out now. That's what Aphrodite tells them. So, how do you find the west? Well, you look at the stars. So they go and...
Foreshadowing?
We'll see.
They see
some cool things, like an electric lyre, or a hair clip that turns into a bow.
An electric lyre? Like it has like a plug hole into it? Or it's made out of electricity?
No, like it's gold or something. I don't fucking know. Anyways, they go through the junkyard, they step outside, and then bam! A giant fucking, like, bronze metal man comes out of, like, the junkyard. It's a prototype of the giant Talos, who is from the Odyssey. If you guys ever watched the old... No, it's not from the... It's either from the... I think it might be Jason and the Argonauts.
I don't remember, to be honest.
I'm not sure what myth it appeared in, but the old Jason and the Argonauts movie with the claymation skeletons, I think also had them fighting against Talos. It's really cool. It's really good claymation, especially for that day and age. It's definitely worth a watch. Go watch it. Anyways, so they're fighting. We find out it's because Bianca actually took a Mytho-Magic figurine from the junkyard. And that's why the Talos prototype is attacking, because they weren't supposed to take anything from the junkyard. And they managed to defeat it by Bianca climbing through the shoe, because there's a hole in like its sole, and dismantling from the inside until like it steps on like a wire, a telephone wire that broken loose, and electricity shoots up. So there's two ways that this next thing happens. Either Bianca gets electrocuted to death, or her body gets crushed by the automaton as it falls, because they cannot find her body. After the automaton falls and dismantles, they never find her body.
Yep.
And she is dead.
Crushed.
Just like that.
Brutally.
Just like that.
I did not expect this kind of...
One is lost in the land without rain.
I did not expect this kind of death from a children's book, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kill count number 1. I think this is the first person that's died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that these books weren't intended for, like, children. They were intended for, children. Like... Yeah, for
which is why you don't have, like, a depiction of, like, her dying, like, her body just disappears. But still, like, wow, you kill off someone. It's like, do you know the books Animorphs?
I think so. It sounds familiar.
Those shits are not meant for children. Holy fucking God. It deals with, like, PTSD, war, gentrification, dehumanization, right? They watch an alien get torn to shreds in front of them within the first, like, 12 pages. One of the characters turns into a hawk and is stuck as a hawk for months. And when they turn back into a human, forget how to be a human. It's legitimately, like, dude, this is not meant for children. Like, holy fuck.
It's a horror book, bro.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's like they could... It's like, if it wasn't for the fact that they keep, like, a goofy feel for a lot of the episodes, it would definitely not have been meant for children.
Yeah.
Genocide, death, war, Freaking, there's a dictator. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Dude, people straight up die in that show.
I mean, the air nomads get wiped out. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And they don't hold back at all. I mean, they show...
something that I like that the live action show does is they show a little bit more of it. There's an airbender who, like, causes a tornado, and one of the fire lords or fire generals or whatever throws fire into it and causes her to be incinerated. Oh yeah, I saw that on Instagram because I didn't watch the live action remake. But yeah, it's fucking insane.
Yeah. A lot of children's book are just adult books, but without gore.
Yeah,
and sex.
That's why I like when it comes to like Gravity Falls or Adventure Time, or Steven Universe. Gravity Falls doesn't have one, but when they have continuations, right, like sequel series that deal with more mature themes, I like that because it goes into the fact that like. If you look back at a children's show, it's fucked up. Just look at Adventure Time, dude. Yeah. Oh my god, the amount of war crimes that Princess Bubblegum has committed is actually insane.
Yeah. Dude, freaking... Adventure Time was also freaking terrifying sometimes. Yeah. The most common example being, what was it, the Lich? Is that
the Lich King.
Yeah.
How, didn't he killed Bobby, or whatever his name is, and inhabited his dead corpse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I haven't watched Adventure Time in a long time, so I don't remember all the details, but his speech is pretty famous.
You have a multiversal god who transcends universes, right? Who literally just craves destruction, right? Like Glob, like his name's Glob or something. And you wanna know who it is? Oh, it's Ice King's old girlfriend. That turned into a fucking demon lord. Or something like that. From what I remember. It's been a while. Still, like, she becomes, like, this god of destruction. She becomes Glob, the god of destruction. And then Ice King becomes Ice King. Literally goes insane through the power of the helmet. It's actually... And then you have Marceline's connection. It's so... fucked up and convoluted. And, like, this aired on Cartoon Network, my god.
Yeah. Oh, like, freaking... Even regular show, bro.
Regular
dude straight up died on screen,
weird.
bro.
Dude, Rigby's died at least 4 times.
Yeah. The two ones I can think of are arm wrestling, when Skips killed him, and when he died to Mordecai pushing him up. You literally see his flesh burning off.
No, it's not. It's decaying. Because remember, they're in like a time vortex.
I forgot about that.
He literally grows old and dies and shrivels away in front of Mordecai. Like, what the fuck? Yeah,
a lot of older shows back then went pretty hard. Hell, even Korra, Legend of Korra, as much
you have a murder suicide.
Yeah, a murder suicide
at the end of the 2nd season. That's
yeah.
Terrorism, genocide,
racism, classism.
You have the Earth Queen getting the air sucked out of her lungs.
Yeah, I need to be sucked out like that.
Okay,
what?
Moving forward, chapter 14. I have a damn problem.
Chapter is so stupid, bro.
They find a tow truck.
This was after someone died, too.
Yes, anyways. So they find a tow truck, and they end up leaving the place. And they drive
with
for a little bit.
Yeah,
with trauma. Blood all over First he realizes that he has to... Okay, moving forward. Sorry about that. But yeah, so they get into a tow truck, and they drive away. And yeah, Percy has to realize he has to step up because Grover is like breaking down, you know.
Breaking down.
But they arrive at like a river. They arrive at a river canyon, and they find some canoes. Percy decides, hey, they find like a goat path, but it's like super steep, and he knows Sally's afraid of heights, so they're like, okay, let's go out of the way. And they go a little bit forward, and they find some canoes, and they actually go upstream, with the help of some naiads, right? Who hate Zoe. Percy is riding with Zoe because Sally was just like, hey.
I thought you said Percy's riding Zoe.
No. Percy is riding with Zoe.
Okay.
Because Sally's just like, I don't think I can handle her right now. She's like broken beyond belief right now. And so they go in and it's revealed that like, that like the water spirits hate her, and it came to me in a dream. But he's just like, oh, you made this. She's like, how do you know that? Oh, I saw it in a dream.
It came to me in a dream.
But yeah, Riptide.
Stupid 9/11 joke, bro.
And so I can't speak. But yeah, she made Riptide. And then they end up coming across the Hoover Dam. And they know a bunch of facts about the Hoover Dam because of Annabeth. They let the canoes flow back downstream. They go onto the dam. And they need to find the damn snack bar. And
it's gonna get stupid.
Grover wants some damn French fries. Thalia wants to use a damn restroom. It's so fucking... This joke has stayed with this community for so fucking long. I still see it. Talking about the damn snack bar.
This is so damn stupid.
But yeah, so they... All of a sudden, who comes up but Bessie? Bessie the sea cow. How the fuck does she get there? We don't know. But she calls Percy's attention, and so the others leave. And then he's just like, oh, I can't go with you, like I got my friends here. And so Bessie leaves, and then the skeletons come, right? And so he's sort of trapped. So he tries maneuvering his way, like, through the dam. He ends up with, like, a tour group. And Athena's there, maybe, right? Like, leading the tour group. And she tells him, oh, there's always a way out for people who, like...
Are smart enough for something like that?
Yeah, smart enough to, like, figure out their way out. And he ends up, like, getting chased into, like, the turbine room and almost slices a woman in half. It's a girl about his age, red hair, Rachel Elizabeth Dare, who can see through the mist. She actually helps him, like, get out, like escape. Escape from the, from the turbine room. And he meets up with, his friends, who start a food fight, to distract the skeleton.
Sounds about right.
But they're still trapped on the dam. They can't go out of the way, and they end up finding themselves backed up to the angels. There's these golden angels that are sacred to Zeus, and people rub their toes for good luck, right? Which is so weird. And
Nasty.
Percy's just like, damn, their toes are shiny. And Fanny's just like, Percy, what the fuck? We're gonna die. Stop focusing on that. And he's like, oh, you gotta pray to your dad. Pray to your dad. For help. And then the angels come alive and then scoop them up and take them to San Francisco. And we get to chapter 15, Wrestle Santa's Evil Twin. So first of all, these angels be laying pipe, bro. They be laying pipe.
Huh?
Did you not, like, they're like, oh yeah, San Francisco,
What?
yeah, last time we went there, we met up with these, like, automatons, and they showed us, like, these lady marble statues at this museum, and then the other one goes, Hank, they're kids, man, come on. And he's like, oh, sorry. They're laying pipe.
They're freaking slinging it around. Just...
Yeah. Percy talks to Thalia about the girl who could see through the mist, and we realize that Sally could also see through the mist. She saw the boar. She probably knew Tyson was a Cyclops the entire time. And how you know this takes place in a fictional setting is when Percy says that San Francisco looks beautiful. And
yeah.
And he's just like,
it
oh,
looks
it's just
beautiful
like a postcard.
with one eye open.
Yeah. They're immediately dropped next to a homeless man. So, I mean...
yeah.
But the angels go, like, on their way, and, you know, so they're there, and they have to find Nereid, the man of the sea. So Zoe dresses Percy up as, like, a fucking male vagrant.
A male vagrant?
Yeah, like a homeless dude. And he's like, oh, he'll smell different than the other homeless men. They walk not even 3 minutes, and they find a bunch of homeless men on a dock, and it's just like, okay, well. So Percy goes... And he's walking around, he's trying to find people until he finds a man that looks like Santa Claus who smells like the ocean. But like old seaweed and like, he smells bad. And what he needs to do is he needs to grab on and hold on to him and make sure he doesn't escape. So he jumps Santa Claus, right? And the man, he's just like, you know, falls into the water, turns into like a seal, then an orca, then an eel. And he's just like, alright, fine, you call me, what do you want to know? And Percy wants to ask about Annabeth, but he's just like, I need to know who the beast that Artemis was hunting. He's just like, well, fuck you, it's right there, and then leaves. And who is the beast but Bessie? I don't know how the fuck his real name is I don't fucking know, and I'm not gonna try to pronounce it because it's just called Bessie. Alright? That's what we're gonna call him. Bessie. The sea cow. And they're like, oh my god, Bessie's the beast, like, how is this? And we realize that it's not a monster in the fact that, like, it's gonna tear down Olympus, but it's innocent. And there's power in killing the innocent. They have to sacrifice its entrails to gain the power to kill Olympus. And then Dr. Thorne ambushes them, right? And they're like, fuck, Dr. Thorne, you know? And so there's a bunch of military men, and they start leaving, but Sally's in a bit of a daze because, like, it's sort of like the sea cow's there, and it's power to take down Olympus, and it sort of gets to her head or something. But
wouldn't it be a sea bull?
I don't fucking know. It's a sea cow.
It's kind of like
a mythical monster.
It's like how the cows in that one farm show, I forgot what it's called, are dudes. But
back in the barnyard or something like that.
Yeah.
The barnyard. I don't know. But
there are no male cows.
Yeah.
Which means they should be having like 2-foot cocks just.
Oh my god. Anyways.
So that scene where like the dude was spraying like milk on him from his udders is really just him coming
Percy
on him.
ends up slicing open a fountain to call camp with the rainbow, and it snaps Sally out of her daze. They call Dionysus, and he ends up snapping the minds of all the mortals who are there, and killing Thorn in a grapevine. Shit was like, what? So Mr. Dionysus is actually useful for once, right?
Yeah, still a douche.
Still a douche. But that's the end of that chapter. Then we get to chapter 16. We meet the dragon of eternal bad breath. And so they have to get the cow, they have to get Bessie out of there, right? Because they can't let it be near the Mountain of Despair. So Grover decides to go with it to Long Island. They get Percy to make a prayer to his father, and he has to give up the lion coat for that. And yeah, then they're on their way. And they're like, oh, how are we going to get to the Mountain of Despair? Like, we don't have anywhere to go. So, we meet Annabeth, actually, before we learn that it was actually Hercules that ruined Zoe's life.
Oh, right?
Yeah. He's a bitch.
Yeah, he's a douche. What the?
So then they decide to go see Annabeth's dad, who is a fucking nerd! But he is totally my type. I mean, older man, nerd, blonde hair, tall. I mean, dude.
Really wish Gianni was here right now. This just got really gay.
Okay. But no, I'm into silver foxes, dude. Like.
Are you hearing this?
Anyways, so they go, and Anna, like, they're just like, oh, we're here because of Annabeth, and you know something's wrong. So he gets inside, but Annabeth's family seems pretty normal. You know, she's got, like, an Asian stepmom who's got, like, red highlighted hair and a bun, 2 little half siblings, who are twins, I think.
Sounds like hell.
But it seems normal. You know?
Seems.
Well, yeah, I know. But Percy comments on that. He's just like, it seems like a normal family. We also see that, like he's... Basically, they're there because they need to borrow his car. Right? And so he relents after a little bit. It's actually the stepmom that's just like, okay, like, they have to go and take it. And she tells Percy to remind them that they still have a home there, Randy. That Annabeth has a home there. So they're driving up to the Mountain of Despair, and Percy catches a glimpse of Luke's yacht. So Luke's yacht is there. Probably of all the monsters, too. And it's not even a second later when it's a Volkswagen there, and the Volkswagen, like, literally explodes. Sally's just like, get out of the car now! They get out of the car, and a lightning bolt comes down and destroys the car.
Thanks, Zeus. That was a $50,000 car you just killed.
Thank you, Zeus, you son of a bitch. But it ends up not really mattering because they end up being right there anyway. And they approach the garden and Ladon the dragon, and we see Zoe's sisters. Who I forget their name, but whatever. They're like, oh, we're like, you'll never be able to pass us, and Zoe says, you know what, fuck you, and wakes up a dragon. The dragon has like hundreds of heads. It's super fucking weird. It's, I don't know. But she manages to distract it. While Percy and Thalia just walk around until she ends up getting too close to the dragon, and she actually ends up getting bit in the side, right?
Yep. Keep this in. This will be a surprise tool that'll help us later.
But she ends up, like, dodging out of the way at the last second. She still gets bit, but she ends up on the other side of the clearing, and Ladon lets them go away because his task is to protect the tree with the golden apples, right?
Yep.
As they're going up the mountain, they see that the ruins of Mount Orthus, or Orthus, are actually there. I don't know how to pronounce it. Which is, like, an old capital in Greece that was said to have been the castle of the Titans, or the mountain of the Titans. Yeah, it actually used to be super tall until, like, these 2 giants ended up just hurling the mountain at Olympus. It didn't end up working, but that's why Mount Othrys is actually shorter than Mount Olympus in Greece.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Well,
not actually, but like that's the myth that they actually used to be the same height until these two giants ended up tearing it apart to throw it at Olympus.
yeah, I think I'd be pretty pissed if someone threw like half a mountain at me.
Yeah. All the giants ended up dying eventually, but
just for that little act on, just alright, that's it. And along
thunder
came
and
Zeus.
lightning.
He hurled his thunderbolt.
They end up finding Artemis and Annabeth, and Atlas and Luke at the top of the thingy, at the top of the mountain. And then we actually end up learning that Alice is Zoe's father. Yeah. We get to chapter 17. I put on a few million extra pounds. So, someone has to hold up the sky. We learned that. And right now it's Artemis. You can't just let it be or else it would crush everything within hundreds of miles. Luke tries to,
Little
like...
Chicken? Where he was like, the sky is falling.
The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he had a point.
He did. There was fucking aliens in that movie, dude.
I forgot about that there's aliens.
Yeah. Luke tries to sway Thalia by being like, oh, the gods don't care about us, and then she doesn't budge. And it goes into a full-on fight, you know. Thalia charges at Luke, and then Percy decides to be smart and charge at the Titan, which cannot swing first because of ancient laws. But as soon as he raises up his sword to attack him, Alice says, fuck no, and then, like,
smacks him
with, like, the spear. It hits his back on a wall.
Boy, I'm a Titan.
Boss. You know?
Yep.
And basically, he gets fucked up. He goes to... God damn it.
Yeah, he fulfilled it 3 times.
He picks up the sword, but then Ares' curse from the first book comes back. And he's not able to lift it. And because of that, he's hit again by Alice. And he realizes, I can't take him on alone. He is saved by the fact that Zoe comes in and shoots at Alice, so he's not dead.
Hell yeah.
He doesn't get killed. But he actually ends up taking the burden of the sky from Artemis. So that way she can fight. And he's just like, oh, like, this is so heavy. Okay, but I got this. Only to realize that Artemis was still actually helping him. And then she scoops out, like, she swoops out. And it's like, well, literally the weight of the entire world on his back. His muscles are on fire. You know, everything is just, bam. And
makes sense. He's still a demigod.
Yeah. They don't mention
so
it,
it's gotta be heavy as hell.
Part of his hair actually turns white.
Yeah.
And we know this because Annabeth's hair is actually streaked white because she was also holding up the sky. So his hair actually starts streaking white too.
He got that Ken Kaneki treatment.
Yeah. They got matching white streaks in their hair now. It's just cute.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Slay. Oh my god.
Yeah. So they end up fighting, and Alice ends up Artemis tries to lead Alice to Percy, but Alice gets the upper hand, and then goes to kill Artemis, but then Zoe jumps in front, and then Alice ends up like fucking smacking her away, like full on smack on.
Yeah.
Like in the chest. Just
he is the Titan of freaking smacking people, bro.
Exactly. And he goes to stab Artemis, and that's why it doesn't work, because he goes to stab instead of smack. Misses. Artemis uses the pole, or like the spear, to launch Atlas into the fucking, like, into where he holds up the world, and so now he's stuck there again.
Yep. Knocking Percy out of the way, he was forced to hold it up.
Yeah. Then we cut to, Thalia with Luke, and Thalia disarms Luke, and is basically just like, oh, like, Annabeth comes up, she's just like, no, don't kill him, and, you know, it's just like, it's whatever, but then
we're like, oh, he tried to kill me 4 times.
Luke decides to be like, nah, and reaches for Thalia's spear, and on pure instinct, Thalia kicks him down the mountain, and fucking kills him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Falls down the mountain.
50 feet. Onto his back. Bah!
You know, it's moving. So funny because I just finished an Ace Attorney trial case.
About the guy who fell like 65 or 64 feet.
65 feet 65 down a pool.
And your defendant was a fucking orca. Who you cross-examined.
Yep.
That's still...
I cross-examined an orpha. So that's why I'm going to buy Adrian the Ace Attorney trilogy so he can experience just how...
fuck yeah, it's insane.
You just have to play it to understand it.
So,
that's the best way I can explain that game.
But the army from the Princess Andromeda, the ship, ends up climbing up the mountain and they're like, oh fuck, but they have to go worry about Zoe because she's literally dying. And then Dr. Chase, Annabeth's dad, comes in a fucking biplane loaded with celestial bronze bullets and starts mowing down the monster army.
Yep.
Like, that shit's huh? And then we also end up learning that Artemis is the real Santa Claus. That her chariot streaking across the sky is actually what, brought about the whole Santa Claus thing. And they end up leaving Mount Orthus with Atlas screaming behind. And that's the end of the chapter. Chapter 18, A Friend Says Goodbye. So, we learned that Dr. Chase actually ended up making these celestial bronze bullets from a bunch of, weapons that Annabeth laid behind. And, it's all fine and dandy until we realize that Zoe is literally dying. That it was the poison from Ladon's bite that was hurting her. But ultimately, Artemis is just like, I can heal it. And Zoe's just like, no, you can't. And Percy realizes because the thing that's killing her is ultimately the final blow that landed by Atlas. That Zoe knew this was going to happen. She still took the quest. But,
Chad.
Yeah. She actually ends up praising Percy. She's just like, you're not like other heroes, you're better, continue being better, you know what I mean? And then she dies.
Yeah.
That's the third person to die.
Yep. See, the difference between this death and the other deaths is we see Zoe die.
Yeah.
She's not coming back for sure.
She her last words are like the stars, and then her eyes go blank.
Yep.
Dead. And it's just like, what? But Artemis is fucking shaking at this point, right? But she manages to convert Zoe's body into a constellation in the sky, which is really nice and touching.
Yep, foreshadowing, like I said.
Yeah. But Percy's like, I'm kind of worried because Artemis is literally flickering with silver light, and he's just like, she might go into her full godly form at any moment and kill us all. But she's just like, I have to leave for Olympus. I will see you guys there. And then leaves, right? Blackjack, right? The Pegasus, comes with 3 friends. They take Thalia, Percy, and Annabeth, from San Francisco all the way to, fucking New York. All the way to New York. In a span of, a night. You know what I mean?
That is stupidly fast.
That's stupidly fast. But
I don't think people understand just how big the United States is, by the way.
Yeah.
People from, Europe are like...
I don't think people understand how big the world is in general.
Yeah.
We always tend to shorten it, or, in our worldview. But, it's gigantic,
Yep. If you tried driving across the U.S., it would take you... Days, really.
A week. Just driving straight.
Mm-hmm. And, airplanes do make that shorter, but it still takes them hours to get across. And airplanes have to go stupidly fast.
These Pegasi are flying about as fast, if not a little bit faster than a plane.
Yep. A jet plane probably, actually.
Yeah. Shit's insane.
That fast.
But yeah, we also learned that Annabeth believes Luke isn't dead. Because he's just like, oh yeah, Percy says, I knew you weren't dead. I felt it. And Annabeth's just like, oh, well, Luke isn't dead either. Just like how you knew about me. Basically saying, Percy's implying that, there's, an innate feeling in his gut. And we know it's because he likes her. And she's basically saying that she still likes Luke. Despite him, doing all this shit. Percy literally says Luke deserved to die. He probably did. I agree with him here.
Yeah.
But because he's hot and because he's so charismatic and because Annabeth has basically been pseudo-raised alongside him, she, has that thing. But whatever.
Yeah.
That's the end of the chapter. Chapter 19.
I don't blame Percy for being pissed about that.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I'd be fucking
I'd be like, oh, you trying to kill me? Remember when I became a cripple? Because of him?
But yeah, chapter 19. The gods vote how to kill us. So they arrive at Olympus, which never sleeps. There's always lights on. But they're there because, it's the Winter Council. They go inside. All the gods are there alongside Grover and Bessie. And it basically goes the way the chapter name describes it. They're just like, how are they going to kill us, Some gods want to kill Percy and Thalia, namely Ares, but even Athena. Not that she wants to kill them, but she was like, they pose a security risk. But, you know, they're like, Artemis is having none of it. She's just like, I will not kill these heroes. I will reward them because of what they have done for us.
Yep.
If we kill them, we're no better than the Titans. Killing them for something they might do. And Artemis is just like, actually, I need a new lieutenant. And Percy thinks it's Annabeth, and he's just like, no. He literally says he starts feeling sick.
Yeah.
Like, dear fucking God, my boy is in love. And he is just refusing to admit it.
Yep.
Right?
I mean, Aphrodite basically confirmed
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Like,
which probably makes him realize it even more. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But even then, he's still, like, kind of refusing to really say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we actually end up finding out that she wants Thalia to be a hunter, to be her new lieutenant. And she accepts. She was going to turn 16 in, like, literally the next day. And she's like, actually, I'm never going to turn 16. Never. You know, I will be a hunter.
Not how that works, by the way.
Huh?
Not how that works, by the way.
Well, yeah, I mean, her body is
her body will still be 15, but she herself will be 16 that following day.
Kind of. Sort of mentally, I don't know. Her body doesn't age past that point, so the prophecy doesn't recognize that she has reached the age of 16. Because it's basically like her body's been frozen in time, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's why, technically, officer, should be...
Okay. Long story short, after that, they host an Olympian party, which has custom music for everybody, by the way. That shit's dope as fuck.
Oh, I'm gonna hear some slamming metal.
Yeah.
I don't really listen to metal anymore.
I like some Viking metal. Ooh, I'm not gonna.
Viking metal?
Yeah.
For
Have you listened
you,
to
it would
Viking
be
metal?
dwarf metal.
Shut the fuck up. Anyways, Poseidon comes up and basically confirms what Annabeth said and says that Luke's not dead. And he's like, what the fuck? How is he not dead? Something's going on here. Alright, something nefarious.
Yeah, 50
Luke
feet,
should be dead.
50 feet fall. How big is that?
That's like 3 stories, dude.
Yeah,
4 stories. Regardless,
fit.
we've noticed Luke doesn't look the same. He's been feeling pale, groggy. Like, in all his descriptions, he's seemed sick. Like, he's on the verge of dying anyway. So how is he still alive? We don't know. And we won't know, actually, at the end of this book. We don't find out.
Damn.
Poseidon has to leave because everybody's using Bessie's new water aquarium as a beach ball. You know, he's like, I had to stop that. Athena comes up and basically says, stay the fuck away from my daughter. That's essentially what she's like, I don't approve of your friendship with my daughter. You're a bad influence. Fuck you.
You're a bad influence.
Yeah.
I am imperfect.
And she literally says, like, sure, you may end up being useful to us, but at the end of the day, I stand by what I said. You do pose a security risk. You could end us if you wanted to. So, I mean... You know,
that's probably for the best.
Yeah. But despite all that, Percy and Annabeth at the end of the chapter actually still end up sharing a dance, which is really nice, really cute. I love it.
I hate it. No, okay, that was pretty good.
Chapter 20, I get a new enemy for Christmas.
Hell yeah.
Percy calls Tyson, and he says he's going to come back for the summer, which is great. And then he calls his mom, Sally, who is currently getting raw dogged by Mr. Bluffus. No.
They call me Mr. Bluffus, by the way.
Shut the fuck up. No, but they're just nice talking, having conversation. And then Sally literally, she kind of like sort of asked Percy she asked Percy if he's fine with this. And he's just like, you know what, are you happy? She says yes. And she's like, well then I'm happy for you, Mom. And it's like, okay, that's fine.
And she proceeded to get laid that night.
Okay. They end up going back to camp and telling Chiron everything that happened. Clarice is back from her top secret mission who has bad news. We don't end up finding out what it is, but whatever. Yeah, Nico comes in and he's like, oh, you guys are back. Where's Bianca? And let me tell you, when I say he does not take the news well. He does not. He starts freaking out. He's just like, no, she's in the fields of asphodel right now getting judged. I can feel it. I hate you. You lied to me. And then the skeleton, I don't know how the skeletons got past the camp border, but then the skeletons, remember them? Come out of nowhere. And Percy's just like, oh, fuck, like, they're here to kill us. And he's like, no, you sent them here. Like, I can't trust you. And Percy's fighting, like, 4-on-1, and he's just like, I can't keep doing this forever. And then Nico screams, and then a chasm opens up where the skeletons were, swallows him up whole, and closes. And he's just like, you know, I wish you were dead, and then leaves. And then Percy picks up the Mythomagic figure. remember the one Bianca got for him, that he kept to give to him, and it's Hades, the god of the dead. Nico D'Angelo and Bianca D'Angelo are children of Hades.
Yep. Who did Hades give that pipe to?
Okay, we don't know, but probably some lady in the 40s. Because they've been in the Lotus Casino for so long. Hades is still the only one that didn't break that oath. You know what I mean? He kept it in his pants.
Yep.
Right? But he saved these children in the Lotus Casino for some reason. They ended up deciding to keep it a secret from Charon. Oh, it's also the reason why Bianca was able to kill that skeleton. Because she has power over the dead. But yeah, so they ended up keeping it a secret from Charon.
That is a crazy feat, by the way, just freaking tearing open the air.
It's like a 10-foot long chasm. Or 20-foot long chasm. I don't know, but it's a big chasm.
That's almost...
It ends up shutting by itself, too. There's still a scar there. But, like, he opened up the earth and then closed it. That shit's insane.
That's crazier, actually, than freaking Percy's tsunamis that he just casually summons on people. Dude, children of the Big Three are powerful. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they end up keeping it a secret from Chiron, and he's just like, damn, I hope he was eaten by monsters. It'd be better than him joining Luke. I'm like, okay, buddy.
Hey, he's got a point. That's all I'm saying.
He's got a point. And the book ends with Grover freaking out because he's just like, no, I was drinking coffee and I was over there, and then he spoke to me. And they're like, who? He's just like Pan spoke to me, and he said, I await you. And that's how the book ends. Loki, I really like this book. I like it better than the Sea of Monsters. I enjoyed reading it. I really did enjoy reading it. I would give this like I want to give it a 9. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I understand. I think
Gianni ended up giving it a 9 too.
Yeah. Honestly, I agree with 9.
Are we giving it a 9? Yeah.
This book is fire.
We all came to a consensus.
So far, I still think the first one is the best one. Mm. But this one is, like, so close.
This one, this might be, like, the second best book in this. Well, okay. Because we still have 4 and 5 to go to. And those two are also monsters. Like, in terms of, like, how I feel about reading them. Like, I love reading them. Like, a little bit of a spoiler, but I like the 5th book better than the first one.
Oh, you spoiled it. I have to kill myself now.
Right. But yeah, that was really easy on ratings. We all gave it a 9 out of 10. That's our average.
Yep. The stakes are getting higher for sure.
Exactly. This was really fun to read. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Threads and TikTok and our YouTube.
We have a TikTok?
We have a TikTok and we're going to have a YouTube.
It's going to get banned, right?
Why?
Because Republicans are like, the Chinese. And TikTok liberals are like, the porn.
Well,
no, liberals like porn. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, the TikTok, it's still here, at Demi-God Discussion. So, yeah, our Instagram, and I mainly post on Threads, just updates for when things come out. Sometimes we post, like, photos on Instagram, and I'm looking on uploading full videos on YouTube and clips on TikTok. So, yeah. Thank you guys for listening. You want to take us out, Randy?
Yep. See ya.